So as the '08 field organizer for this region, I used to be the lady with the plan. Well, I was barely a lady. I was more of a kid. I was new to town. I was eager to help. And let's just be honest, I was a bit of a bull in the china shop. But you were all very kind to me. In the past, when I've addressed this group, it's been with a great deal of certainty and conviction. Certainty that we knew exactly what we needed to do, and conviction that this group would deliver. Throughout the months of campaigning, our goals seemed to double every week. I remember coming in on Mondays after the big phone bank weekends and saying, "Thanks, team, thanks for the 10,000 phone calls." Only moments later to say, "We're going to need 20,000 next weekend." And our fantastic phone bank coordinators, and I'm looking at many of them over here and over here, they would grumble, but then they would deliver. You would deliver. Because, and you heard this loud and clear, because we were all committed to a vision. Yeah, those two. So people used to show up to our field offices with very impressive resumes. I mean, this is Silicon Valley, after all. And they would sort of rattle off all of their qualifications, you know, that they should probably be doing some speech writing for Senator Obama. And these two lovely ladies, along with their staff, would very politely listen. And then they would explain, also very politely, that there were three things you could do. You could call, right? You could knock on doors, or you could donate. And again, this is what we needed, and you responded. You actually humbled yourselves with your incredible resumes, and you did what we needed to do. You did the thing Peggy mentioned. We got focused, and we did it together. But this is different. What united us then was a leader with a vision. Who will lead this resistance? What's the vision? And what does winning even look like over the next 4 years? So here's the hardest reality. Let's get it out. There is no answer. There is no leader. There is only us. So here we are on Martin Luther King Day in a church. And I'm asking you to walk with me, to take the first steps, that starting on January 20th, or maybe even tonight, no matter how awful we feel, we put one foot in front of the other and we go. What we have today is each other. That's why we put this event on. A lot of people said, why isn't it about what we should do? Why are we going to look back? Because the past informs our future. Because that is what unites this room. It's to give us this opportunity to reconnect and to reminisce, and then hopefully to take some action together. So I'm not standing here with concrete answers for you tonight. You know, part of the challenge of being the third person in an organizing group that doesn't show up to the meetings is that you get asked to do the talk like this. So I don't have the answers. I drew the short straw for not showing up, sorry. But I do have some ideas. Since the election, I started a personal project, keeping tabs of all the grassroots groups springing up across the country. I've kept it in a simple Google Doc, and I've called it The Resistance. And these are the hacky organizing tools that we do so well in Silicon Valley. I'm happy to share it with anybody after this event. In fact, many of you have already been in the doc and adding to it, and thank you for that. But this project has actually given me hope, because it's shown me that the resistance has started, and it's growing. The resistance has started with groups like the Indivisible Guide. Good, there's a clap. Somebody's got the guide. So the Indivisible Guide began as a Google Doc made by a group of former congressional staffers, excuse me, to explain what works to get Congress to listen. They basically distilled the Tea Party movement and their tactics into a simple, actionable playbook. And then they put it out there. and the response was huge. I found it because I was added into a secret resistance Facebook group in the weeks after the election. Started going through it. It was brilliant. They've already been approached to create a website because it was getting so much distribution. And now, not only do they have these tactics, they also are connecting people. They're allowing people to find each other so that they can go out and they can run this playbook together in their districts. They've been featured on MSNBC and in the New York Times, but more importantly, they're getting this information in the hands of organizers who can take it and run with it. The resistance has started with groups taking the long game, like flippable.org. So Flippable was born out of the Clinton campaign by a group of young staffers from across the country. Their plan is to take the country back from the ground up, focusing on state legislatures, because that is where the redistricting needs to happen. I've been speaking with them and actually invited Vanessa. Vanessa, are you here? Stand up, Vanessa. Don't be shy. There she is. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. I invited Vanessa from their group here. So this is an issue that you're passionate about. Find her and help them be successful. The resistance has started with groups who want you to take one action every day. What if we all did one thing? Just one thing every day. All of us. Their mission is to make it simply irresistible to resist Trump. I love that. It's very irresistible to me. They do this by delivering 4 actions to your inbox every week. Things as simple as calling your elected officials to oppose the Trump nominations for cabinet picks, to asking people to host their first resistance group, and then even connecting them to the Indivisible Guide. So these groups are not only forming, they're connecting, they're finding each other, they're referring each other. And this is all, to me, signs of a really healthy movement. My favorite part about this group, the whole effort is run by 2 women, Kara and Amelia, who just could not. They just could not the day after the election. They needed to do something. And so this is what they did. There are so many other groups forming. Matt Haney is here. There's a group, Van Jones has his Dream Corps. He's going to be forming something called the Angel Corps. Excited to hear more about that. But then there's also great groups that have been here for the long haul that really need our support right now. Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Institute. These groups, they need us. Don't donate once. Get on the monthly recurring, okay? Get on the monthly recurring. Just do it and forget about it. Don't look at your credit card statement. I did a few of those. Sorry, honey. And then there are the events. Who is marching this weekend? So if you haven't, find a women's march. It's Saturday. But in addition to that, on election day, on Inauguration Day, there will be a protest up and down the El Camino from 12 to 1. Is Ladoris Cordell here? Ladoris? Okay, well, she's got more information, and we're going to try to get it out to you after this event as well. So now you guys know me, and you don't expect me to get up here without asking for something. So what I want to do is I want to ask you for 2 things. Number 1, and you heard this already tonight, pick your issue. Pick something and focus. Think back to your story of self. Think back to what matters to you. Think about what you value that this administration threatens to take away. Our dentist likes to say to our daughter, "You should only floss the teeth you want to keep." We should probably only defend the freedoms we want to keep. There is plenty of ground to cover. Obamacare, climate change, women's reproductive rights. Pick an issue, get behind it, become a part of their extended staff. Second, organizing is better with friends. And that's why we're here, because we already have our team. It is in this room. But we want you to go deeper than that. So we know it's easier to build momentum if we do things together. Scan this room and think about who you want to ask to coffee, who you want to be a part of your team, who is going to keep you going when you say, oh my God, the news, I can't. You can. Who will that person be? And I want you to find them during the reception and ask them. So let's formalize this a little bit and say things out loud so that we're committed. I want you to answer 2 questions. Who are you going to recruit to your team? And what do you think is going to be your issue? I'm going to give you a minute to do this. And I got a timer somewhere. You're going to be my timer? Okay, great. All right, so on my count, I want you to turn to somebody and I want you to answer these questions. Go. Did that feel good? It felt good, right? It feels good to take action. It feels good to own your country. So, as 2016 drew to a close, so many people said good riddance. Maybe you were one of them. I mean, it was a bad year. It started with David Bowie's death. It ended with Carrie Fisher's death. We all know what happened in the middle. But I couldn't say that because 2016 gave me my baby. We named her Vivienne Coretta Hale, her middle name for the woman who fought for the day we are celebrating today. Coretta Scott King fought for the rights of blacks, of LGBT, of women, and to preserve her husband's legacy. We gave our daughter her name to remind ourselves as her parents that every person made vulnerable by injustice is someone's precious baby, and that we need to stand up for their rights. We just had no idea how soon we'd be needing to do that. As Obama said in the final words of his farewell address, I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can.